All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. My name is Mike. I'm the marketing manager here at Benchmark Tool and Supply. I want to thank everybody for jumping on here today. We're going to try to keep this one short, as we always do, about 20 minutes, get you guys some information you need real high level, and get you back to work. We're going to focus today on drones in construction and surveying industries. They have become a very hot topic here in the past year or two, and there's a lot of information out there. So we're just going to kind of relay what we feel some of the best practices that construction companies are using, and just give you guys some of our recommendations, let you guys know we are here to help. Real quick background on Benchmark. Actually, before we get started, I apologize. There is going to be a chat box open. I'm going to be monitoring that chat box. So if you guys have any questions while we go through the presentation, feel free to type them in. We'll get to the questions at the end. A few of you guys did type in some questions when you registered. Thank you so much for that. We will get to those at the end of the presentation as well. Hopefully, though, we answer them while we go along. That being said, quick background on us. We've been in business since 2004. Mainly, we are a construction, surveying, engineering supply company, as well as a technology company. But again, we are drone dealer. We're a DJI authorized dealer and repair center. We have been since about 2015. We are a TopCon dealer for North Carolina, Virginia, a TopCon master dealer actually, and we have been consistently ranked as a top seller for them since 2006. We just opened up a new location, so we now are up to 5. Our headquarters is here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have one in Concord, 3 Virginia, Chesapeake, Ashland, and the newest one is Roanoke. And all of our locations are fully staffed with sales, service, and training. So anything you guys need as far as drone surveying equipment, technology, we are here to help y'all. Got 2 people in with me today. They're going to kind of go through this presentation with me. We have Amber Tsirnikas, who is our drone sales rep, and Steve Waller, who is our inside service tech. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Amber to get us started. Steve and Amber may sort of tag team some slides, so if we jump back and forth, just work with us. We're just going to try to get you all the most information we can, because we've got a sales perspective and a service perspective, so kind of unique to the industry. We've got both sales and service here in-house. So with that being said, Amber, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending. So we'll just go ahead and dive right in. Our 2 major drones for construction are the Phantom 4 RTK and the Matrice 210 RTK. The reason these 2 drones are great for construction is they're able to get you that centimeter level accuracy with the RTK correctance that comes from either the base station or the network that you connect to. So the Phantom 4 RTK, we'll dive a little bit more into that. It looks really similar to your Phantom 4 Pro. However, the little bubble on the top and the insides are what makes it completely different because that is the RTK. The difference between a regular Phantom and the Phantom 4 RTK is its accuracy in maintaining GPS. It also comes with a base station that is DJI, so that way the drone, the base station, and the remote will all talk to each other. The remote has a built-in screen which allows you to plan autonomous flights and get you great data to put into software to get outputs that you would need. The Matrice 210 RTK, very similar to the Phantom in that it does come with a remote and a base station as well. Some main differences are obviously the size. With the 210 RTK, you're going to be able to withstand a little bit higher of wind. You're also going to have the ability to swap payloads. Right now it has set up a regular 24 megapixel camera. You could also swap that out or add, because this drone can carry 2 payloads at a time, such as a thermal camera. So you could do regular RGB mapping and thermal, or you could switch it out for another camera that might be of interest. This is the camera I recommend using with the Matrice 210 RTK. That is because it has that mechanical shutter instead of a rolling shutter, which makes it really great for surveying and mapping quality images. So you have heard me mention base station and network that both RTK drones can run off of. There's a few differences. So if you already have say an eyesight plan with your TopCon system, you can just connect your drone to that network and fly to get RTK off of that. Or you can get the drone with the base station. It unfortunately cannot connect to any of your other base station. It is exclusively DJI. So the drone, the remote, and the base station can only talk to each other through the DJI network. So the base station will allow you to localize your site. It gives you a little bit more of a stable connection, where with the network you're kind of relying on connectivity not having issues. So that would just weigh your pros and cons. If you're always going to be in a great area with good connection, then maybe the network's better for you. Otherwise, the base station is a great option. So we're going to dive into some outputs you would get from running the drone, these RTK drones. In construction, you guys are mainly concerned with site progression, volume calculations, and contour maps. With the drone, you'll be able to go out to the field, plan your autonomous mission, watch it fly, and then export your photos that are geotagged to your processing software to get these outputs. And again, you are able to get a centimeter level accuracy rather than a couple foot with a non-RTK drone.
For those of you who are accustomed to going out to your piles and walking it with your base and rover, and an hour later you've got your bottom and top layers, to give you an idea, you can fly 30, 40 acres in about 20 minutes and do the same thing.
So again, software, we talked a little bit before about the Preflight software. So it's the GS Pro. This is what comes on the Phantom 4 RTK built-in screen. And you can also get it for the Matrice 210. Basically what it does is you're able to map out a boundary of where you want to fly, and it will automatically generate a flight pattern. So all you have to do is watch it fly. It'll take off and land in the same spot. Super easy, super user-friendly. And then after you're done flying, you would use either Pix4D Mapper or DJI Terra to get those outputs like we just talked about on the previous slide. So a little bit more on the software. We both train and sell these software, so it's not one of these things where we're just going to throw you into a extensive software and expect you to learn it. We go very in-depth on our software trainings and tailor it to your needs and what you want to gather out of it. Pix4D Mapper, there's a few different options where it has different or more than one license. You have cloud processing and cloud storage, meaning that most of the job sites you can process yourselves. However, some of them you can send them off to Pix4D to process for them. And you can also store data sets in your cloud. That way you can share with the rest of your team instead of sending a larger file via email. DJI Terra is basically the same, except it is DJI's version of basically generating those outputs. So this is kind of what Steve just mentioned a minute ago, how you can fly, you know, we said 30, 40 acres in 20, 30 minutes rather than walking it. You're able to get contours of the entire site. You're able to use your ground control that you're already setting up and putting that into the software and tying it down. That way you know it's exactly where it needs to be. It just is a huge time saver, and it also will save you on sending crews out. So from what took, a handful of people now can take 2.
Exactly.
Maybe even 1 to fly the drone and put out control.
Yeah, awesome. Steve, while I've got you here, can you talk a little bit about the service that we offer and the benefits of having, for the guys in construction, what the benefit may be of having you here versus having to deal with the traditional ways of getting it back to DJI?
every aircraft has an expiration date, whether it's RC or drone or whatever. In the service department, I'm the one you will talk to. You will have my cell phone number. And if you have any questions at all, you can call me Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I will be there to answer. We can help you set up the aircraft, teach you how to fly, teach you the Pix4D. We don't expect everybody to remember everything. That's why we have the phone number set up. If you need help, I forgot how to import this, or the aircraft is doing that. How do I do a firmware update? Anything, just get a hold of us, and we're there all the time to help you out. If something happens to your aircraft, the downtime is going to be a lot less bringing it back in to see me. DJI currently, with the COVID and everything going on, is running a 4 to 6 week turnaround time. Something happens to your aircraft, bring it in, we can diagnose it, get parts, and have you turned around in no time, within the week, most cases. If you still have your warranty with DJI and you don't want to go through the headache of packing it up and shipping and tracking and all that, we do that as well. We'll do it start to finish for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. I definitely appreciate that. So at this point, that's all we've got, guys. Like I said, we're trying to keep this simple and straightforward as we can to get you guys back to work. The chat is open, so if you guys have any questions, please feel free to type them in. I do have a few here written down that I'm going to kind of just ask while we wait for any more to pop up. Amber, one of the ones that they asked about was using drones for topographic surveys. Can you dive into that just a little bit for us?
Yeah, so we kind of covered that already. So we'll take one of our RTK drones, we'll set up control on our site, we'll fly it with our autonomous flight software, and then after it's done, we'll pull the geotagged images off of the drone and import them into Pix4D. In Pix4D, we'll get outputs that you can use in your CAD software. So one of those main outputs would be those contour maps. So what this is you can set your spacing for your contours at 1 foot, 2 feet, 10 feet, however you want. Pix4D will generate those. You can put those into your CAD software and then either overlay the site or, you know, compare it to the previous week, however you want to do that as well. You can also import your point clouds into your CAD software. They are very user-friendly. There's more than one file type to import, so it leaves you covered with all your options of what you would need.
Awesome. Thank you.
And to answer the next question that just came in was about repetitivity. When you fly your job site, you'll set up on the same point like you would a base and rover, and you will plot it out. You will save that file. So each week, every day, every couple of weeks, however often you want to go out there, you set it up again, press the button, and it will autonomously fly the site. So now you've got your job progression. You can do your cut fills. You can see how things are going along. So it's not a one and done on your site.
And with that is you generate your autonomous flight mission and you can reuse that same flight every time you go out to the site. And so that's what helps with your repetitiveness, you know, setting up the base station to localize your site in the same spot every time and then flying the same mission every time. So there's your repetitive, you don't even have to change anything anytime you go out to the site.
Yeah, and it can also be a great tool, Amber, right, for kind of insurance purposes to prove that you guys are being safe on the job site, to prove that stuff hasn't happened. Can you dive in a little bit on how guys are using that?
Because you have someone always telling you, especially for cut fill projects where you're digging dirt, you're putting dirt places, you know, someone's charging you by the truckload and you're going off of their word. Now you have the option to go out in a couple minutes and verify, you know, they said this was this many truckloads. It actually isn't. I'm overpaying or I'm getting away with a lot. There's your verification on your site to see if you're paying for what you're actually getting.
Awesome. We had another question come up that I thought was pretty interesting. One of our guests today is a carpentry teacher, and he's here with some students. And he wanted to know just about some career opportunities with drones and carpentry. Can you dive into a little about what you may see that as an opportunity, or how that may kind of open up a little bit?
Yeah, so if I'm understanding the carpentry teaching, it would be more on the construction side. So it would be along the lines of measuring, cut fill data. It would be using these contour lines to generate outputs or verification. I'm basically able to get survey grade accuracy from a drone rather than walking it yourself. You also could use it to measure, buildings or roofs, that kind of stuff. Pix4D, basically, you can do any type of measurement. So if that's something of interest as well, you could definitely do that.
Awesome. Thank you. So we did have a question, and this is going to vary, I think, from project to project, but somebody wanted to know how long it's going to take to process about 1,500 images. Steve or Amber, who wants to tackle that one?
Yeah, so, and I would say it depends. And it depends on what type of computer you have and what its capabilities. I would say, are your images from one source? Typically with the Phantom 4 RTK in Pix4D, I did about a 40-acre site. It was right under 300 images, and I was able to process that in a little over an hour and get the outputs I needed. So I would say that is my estimation. I also have a gaming laptop, so I have a pretty good processing system. If you don't have a good processing system like that, or don't meet the general requirements for the software, then that's where your time is gonna go up some.
Okay, awesome. Just had another question come in. They want us to shortly explain what kind of data is being collected by the drone. And actually a few questions, we'll tackle that one first.
Yeah, so the drone is collecting image, and all of the images are geotagged. So in one of these screens, if you go back in Pix4D, this one, you can see all those blue-green dots. Those are where the drone actually was and the image it took. So it's taking an image and it is geotagging it to a certain location.
Okay. So the second follow-up question, and I think we'll address this directly, but we have sort of already indirectly. So these were captured using an RGB, just a normal standard camera. They wanted to know, will this also kind of generate the same for LiDAR images?
Yeah, so you can use LiDAR images in Pix4D, yes, and there are where you can use multiple. So Pix4D, you can import almost any type of image type, whether it's your regular camera, whether it's a drone image, whether it's LiDAR, whether it's this, that. However, I would note that the quality of image you put in will reflect the quality of outputs you will get. So I would not recommend doing something you want precise accuracy on with your camera phone. Just isn't going to be pretty. But with that, you will get great data stitched together on your drone. When you're doing your flight software, you are setting your overlap to make sure when the software stitches it together, it's aligning all those key points and it's matched up perfect. Pix4D, if it doesn't like an image or cannot stitch it, will just red flag it, won't use it. So that's a great thing about the software is it provides higher level statistics than you would imagine on stitching these images together and making sure it's only processing quality data.
And the last kind of piece of his question was, they're looking to do topo maps, including buildings in mostly wooded areas. Would you recommend sticking with LiDAR, or you think RGB could cut it? What do you think would be the best option?
So the main difference right there is going to be your price point. With the drone image, it is an RGB camera. Therefore, if it cannot see the ground, it cannot measure it. So that's where you would have to weigh in LiDAR. If you have dense canopies or highly reflective surfaces or lakes or ponds, then an RGB camera with the Pix4D software is not going to stitch together very pretty. It may end up in some images thrown out like we were just speaking on. Now, if you're able to get LiDAR and able to match both the drone image with the RGB and the LiDAR, I would say you're set up very nicely.
Awesome. All right. So that was, unless anybody's got questions, that was the last one I saw come in. So I'll give it to Steve. Do you have any last words you wanted to kind of throw in for our guests today?
If you guys have, go to the end slide.
Sure.
If you guys have any other questions, comments or anything, give us a call. There's the phone number on there. My direct extension 702. Info goes to both Amber and I. And if you've got more in-depth questions or need help with anything else, just give us a buzz.
Okay. Awesome. Amber, any last thoughts?
Nope. Look forward to speaking with you guys more and getting you set up and trained.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'll close this out. I want to say thank y'all for joining us. Hopefully this was quick but informative. I want to get you guys back to work. We are going to be uploading this webinar to our website. So if you just check out benchmarksupply.com, go to, I believe it's a training section on our website. This should be up within a day or two, so you guys can come back and reference this. We are doing different webinars. We do about 2 a month, usually the second and fourth Monday. So if you guys want to just check out, there's in our training tab as well. The next webinar registration is there, or follow us on social media. We try to post everything there as well. I don't see any more questions coming in. So with that being said, guys, we'll wrap up. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Hope you have a great and productive week. Thank you.